Well, Dave, welcome back first of all. Just tell us how much you're looking forward to the new season on the eve of the new campaign.
I think always with young players there's an optimism, trying to gauge their progress, their development over the last. We had a really young group last year who we were delighted with, their progress, the challenges they faced, how they met them head on, and sometimes learning takes place in different guises, and so we were naturally, the lads found it difficult, as I'm sure we expected at the start. Moving forward 12 months, their levels of application and attitude has been absolutely first class. And what's important is something we've stipulated to the lads all pre-season. Look, this is a part of your journey. It's a really important part, much like everything else that's gone before. But we're trying to get you to the next stage of the journey as quickly as we can, and put those building blocks in place. And I've got to say, I'm repeating myself, but their attitude has been nothing short of first class.
And what were your overall reflections on last term, and how do you take that next step forward now?
I think when we look back at the last 12 months, I think it would be fair to say that we expected it to be a challenge. We had a very, very young group in terms of age and in terms of physical maturity. So we spent a lot of time in regard trying to affect that through what we did in our application out on the grass. But that's a long process. You know, development does take time. Some people get there quicker than others. That's absolutely fine. But we were very patient with the boys. We tried to encourage them. Sometimes results didn't go our way, but we kept at it. We ensured that the players maintained, listen, that was tough, but there were some really good points and really good areas of progress in that. Let's keep those and let's add things onto it. And that's development. We don't get too carried away when we're really good, and we don't get too low when we have a tough Saturday. We still look at the bigger picture of where we want those players to go in the end journey, which is ultimately Villa Park at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
And do you set them targets by way of ranking and silverware, or is it all about mental, physical, technical development?
No, nothing. I mean, look, the lads intrinsically will be desperate to win, and we do say there's goalposts at the end of the pitch, lads. You know, that suggests that there's a scoreline on it, and winning has a part to play. We all accept and understand that. But in the grand scheme of things, we want to try and get players from the 18s into the 23s, and we're the step of that journey. In terms of objectives and benchmarks, yeah, the players all have an individual area that they're trying to perform towards, and an area from the physical side, the technical aspect, psychologically, which we're trying to guide their development in relation to a marker. They've all got those, which we work on during a week. So the most important thing for us here in terms of development is that we're aware of tomorrow, we're conscious of today, but we're massively focusing on the journey further down the road for them. We've got some good players, there's no doubt about that. We've got a good group of players who we have a lot of hope and high hopes for. So we're hoping that they understand which is the message we've given them. This is where we are. That's where we want you to get to, and this is what you need to do in that journey to try and get there with a lot of patience. And our job as the coaches is to facilitate that development and encourage and support, and try and guide and nurture.
Are there perhaps a few we need to keep our eye on, and the fans need to keep their eye on?
Well, we hope
Colin
so.
Odeteo,
Yeah,
well,
we hope so. I mean, I won't. You know, for me, I'm not going to name names. I think there's for sure there's talent. Historically, the club's always produced players. We believe there's players in our group who can continue that tradition. When that is, you know, who knows? It depends. Players develop and mature at different times. So some players will be ready before others to get into the 23s in the coming weeks. So, you know, we're patient. We're aware of where we sit. We're aware of where the players sit. In regards to trophies and silverware, that it's not my main focus. My main focus is developing the individuals within the units, within the team, to try and make sure that, yes, they're successful. Yes, we understand there's an outcome of a game and we want to win. But also being assured that the bigger picture is far, far more important.
And speaking personally, how much did you enjoy the challenge last season, and what have you got for yourself this season by way of targets?
Yeah, I think when you work in development, you work in it because you love seeing young players progress and improve. That's certainly, in my experience, that's the most rewarding and enjoyable aspect. When you see the player make the next step up and you see areas of development and progress. My own aspirations really are trying to make sure we get the next player into the next level, working with the coaches as quickly as we possibly can, and trying to get that when it's right for the player as well, but competing to get into the next age group. So in development, you get them to a stage and hopefully they move on and they stay at the next level, and then you try and work with the next player to get them to the next stage. So I'm excited for this season, exactly as I was excited last year, exactly as I've been excited probably the last 10 years or so working with under 18s. There's nothing more rewarding than working with young players at a club where players get an opportunity, and that's clearly historically been the case here.
And you mentioned you had a great pre-season. How excited now to finally get underway tomorrow, Arsenal away? Yeah,
good. Yeah, really good. I mean, the players are excited. It's been challenging, it's been tough. We've pushed them a little bit more than we did last year because we felt they were physically better, having had 12 months of the programme, having grown a little bit. So we certainly challenged them far more than we did last year. We were really pleased with levels of performance last year. And there was areas in games where we were really, really good. As is always the case, there's areas where you want the players to improve. So we're excited by what's to come for the next 9 months. That's the message we said today. Look, in a football season, when it comes to development, there's real highs. There's occasional lows, but you can't be really up here when it's good, and you can't be down there when it's tough. You've just got to keep the same mindset. We know the end of the journey. We have an understanding of where you want to get to and how we can help you get there. Let's make sure we don't get too far off that level to ensure that over the course of the next 9 months we see some real good progress, some real good development, and ultimately within that, let's hope we get some really good performances.
Wish you all the best with it. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.